Hello everyone, my name's Sharon and I'm a teacher trainer for Cambridge University Press here in Turkey. Some of you may already know me, so a big hello to you all that do. For those of you that don't, well, I do hope we get the opportunity to meet sooner rather than later. Unfortunately, we're going through some very challenging times at the moment. It's even more difficult for teachers like yourselves who are trying to adapt their classroom lessons to online teaching. So here at Cambridge University Press Turkey, we'd like to offer you a more personalised programme to support you during these difficult times. So in this video, we're going to look at some resources that are available currently and where to find them. A lot of these you've received from your EdCons already, and they are located on our Better Learning website, but it's quite difficult sometimes if you're trying to find exactly what's suitable for you and your classes. So I'm just going to give you a little guide through those. Online teaching, some things to remember. What happens when something goes wrong, how we can manage that situation. Because when we're using technology, inevitably it does go wrong. Productable, well, you've all been using our course books. So these are some extra resources to help you use our course books more effectively online. And what's coming soon? My colleague Laura and I have quite a few things lined up for you over the next few weeks. So we'll be looking at those as well. So first and foremost, I'd like to go to the cambridge.org/ELT/blog website. As you can see, there's quite a lot of resources already there. And we started on the 13th of March, just when the lockdown started. There's lots of things on there, moving your classes online. It might be how to do your lessons, with children and avoid the edutainment, but you still want to keep it fun. Google Classrooms, they're a popular one for a lot of our teachers to manage their students and share work with their students as well. And also some English activities around the home, what they can do in their own home while they're doing their lessons, or maybe with their parents as well. So there's a lot to do there. Let's not forget also how to teach remotely with our products. In this case here, you can see it's how to teach remotely with Interchange. So we'll be looking at those in a little more detail as well. If we go to the website, as you can see, it's quite a full website here, and this page itself will be different, obviously, depending on when you go on it. Now, normally you'll see at the top here just the 3 categories when you go into this page, and not this blue strip here underneath. If you click down on one of these little arrows here, that's when we get the drop-down menu here. So we're going to go to the categories first of all, and we're going to look at tools, because this is where our Better Learning or Supporting Every Teacher resources are. So the top of this page is actually normally in a block form, in a square form, so it's quite difficult to see which one's the latest. But if you scroll right down to the bottom here, you can see in list form, and we have the publication date here. We also have the topic, so whichever it is that you might be searching for, it's quite easy to scroll down and see there, and the author or the trainer that published this content. So it's quite nice to scroll right down to the very bottom, and at the very bottom here you'll see another button that says more, so it brings you the full list, so you can keep searching all the way through that quite easily. If we go to the next option, which is techniques focuses in a lot more on exam content. As you can see here, it's IELTS, and we've got A1 starters, A1 movers and A2 flyers, and we've also got some methodology on here as well. The last one we have is insights here. Now this is a little bit more suitable perhaps for weekend reading, when you've got a bit more time on your hands, and it focuses on different perspectives on language and language learning. So quite interesting reads there. Okay, so if we move to online teaching, some things that we need to remember. Well, first and foremost, we need to set up 10 to 15 minutes earlier. Why is that? Well, when we actually go to our classrooms, normally we prepare in advance. We collect all our realia or our photocopies, maybe some coloured pens, maybe some scissors, bits and bobs like that that we take into the lesson. Well, teaching online is no different. So if we sit at our computer 10 to 15 minutes early, we can do our system check. Why do we need to do a system check? Well, you may be sharing your computer with another member of your family, and it might be your children that are doing their lessons online as well, so they need to use that computer, or it might be another member of the family that uses it for their own personal use. Now, the system itself might have been changed while your children are using it, or another member of the family. So we need to make sure that it's set up according to your needs for your lessons. An example of that would be the sound and camera itself. So we need to check that sound and camera are off before we actually start our lessons. And the reason for that being, quite obviously, is that if you're not quite ready to start your lesson and you've entered the meeting itself just to get ready, it's all obviously going to have all the background noise or people coming and going, and it'll also show everything that's going on in the room. And this is a very private space, your home, so sharing this all with your students, you may prefer not to. So making sure our sound and our camera's off until we're really at our computer, in the right position, door shut, and in full control and ready to go. The background also something we need to think about. We want to make sure that we've got a nice suitable, might be just a plain wall background or against a curtain, or maybe that you've moved some washing that you had in the background before you switch that camera on as well. And we also got the use of virtual backgrounds, which we're going to look at in just a minute. Please make sure you open all your PowerPoints, your documents and your videos ready for your lesson. We don't want to be spending time during the lesson clicking through files and trying to find something. And it happens a lot, actually. So if we have them all open in advance, we can just click through the open file on the desktop. We also actually need our open files to be able to share. We'll come to that in just a second. Okay, so if we look at Zoom, Zoom's one of the more popular platforms that teachers are using to do their lessons on. I know there's a few security issues that have come up recently. It's something we're going to look at in another session. But anything on the internet, unfortunately, we're always at risk. You know, we just have to take certain precautions to do that, which is having a good antivirus program, which blocks out any unwanted guests, shall we say. So if we look here, first and foremost, to actually get to this page, what we need to do is go to your account. You need to go to the website itself, sign into your account, go to your profile page, and some of you might not be able to see that straight away when you go in. If you can't see your profile page, which is this image here, yeah, this is your profile. If you can't see this straight away, click on join a meeting, or you can keep, or just my account, yeah. So, or if not, sorry, join a meeting. And that will bring you up to another page where you can see your profile picture. And then you just click on your account there, which will then bring you to this page. This page, and then your settings. Click on your settings, and this will bring you the options of the meeting pages. Now you've got basic or advanced. Quite honestly, they're all on the same page. So just staying on the page that opens up here is the same. So first of all, we want to go to participants video. We need to make sure our participants video is on so that we can see them in the meeting. We also need to make sure our file transfer is clicked on so that we can share any worksheets or any PDFs or anything that we want our students to see. So we want to share those with them. The next option is annotation. If we're using a whiteboard or even with our Word documents or our PDF, we want students to write on them as well, to annotate them. We need to make sure that's on. We've got our whiteboard option here because we want to use a whiteboard in our class, and we need to make sure we've clicked the auto save whiteboard content when sharing. And this is so that anything that's done on the whiteboard, you might have a mind map, or you might have some lists, or you might have your homework on there, that it's saved and it can be shared. Non-verbal feedback. Well, if you don't want all your students talking at the same time, this is a nice one where they can just use little, icons to wave their hand, or, request some help, or put a thumbs up, so we can see those on the screen. And then we come to our breakout rooms. Now, this has to be on for you to see it on your own platform first and foremost. And we have here the option of allowing the host to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. Just makes it a little bit easier to do that. Always show the meeting control bar up here. Of course, when we're in a meeting, we need to see our control bar to flick between other files or documents, or to do our screen sharing. On that note, we've got the screen sharing option here that we need to click. And I would recommend we only click host only at that point. You can actually share your screen in the actual meeting itself as and when you want. So initially, I would just keep it as a host only, because we don't want students sharing lots of stuff until we're ready for them to share. So we're in a meeting now. As you can see, this is a screen shared option down here. We need to click on here, and this will bring up this window here. Now, when I said earlier about opening PowerPoints, documents, etc. in advance, one of the reasons as well is that we can see it in this window. If we haven't opened it on our desktop, we're not going to see it here in the window. And then we choose which one we want. We just highlight that one, and then we click share. And you can see this is under the basic option here. The advanced option lets us share a portion of our screen. Think about when you're actually cropping a photo. It's very much the same. So this frame, wherever you put that frame over the document, it will only share that much with your students. Or for those of you that are familiar with Presentation Plus, you can see on there, you can zoom into certain areas only. So it's pretty much the same. And we've also got the option of music or computer sound. Now, this is really important if we're letting students are doing some audio during the lesson, but you need to make sure it's open and playing before you click that. If you're lucky enough to have a second camera, you can also share that as well. And if we come to the option of files under here, we can share anything from any of our shared spaces. That might be a Dropbox, a OneDrive, a Google Drive, or a box. So you can just click on those and share directly from them. During the meeting, if we feel uncomfortable, if we've got an issue, if we're not sure and we need to go out and find another file, we can pause our share here. Now you can see here, this is my whiteboard here, which I've already shared. And if I click this button, it will just freeze that screen on my student screen. So that allows me to come out of this screen and go into any other file or folder or find whatever else is I need. Once we've found it, we can come back and do resume share if we want. Again, this will carry on the page that you left them with. But the better option is to click to new share. Without coming out of this page at all, just click to new share, and then it'll open up the same window it did previously when you went to share something, and you can choose that file from there, and it will do a smoother transition from this slide to the next slide, or from this slide to the next document, without coming in and out. Changing your background on Zoom. Well, again, in our main settings on the website, we need to make sure our virtual background is open here. So we need to click that on. It opens up this window here for our virtual background in our platform here. There's a little video icon here. If we click on this, it brings us straight to this page, and we scroll down to the virtual background. So we've got a few options there, not many, but we can add them here with this little plus sign up here, and we can take any photo from our own personal files and then add that to our collection here. Now, you do need here a green background. It says a solid color video background, and green being preferred. is required. It also depends on the quality of your camera. I know if you do your meetings on a telephone, you'll find the virtual background works a lot better because of the quality of the cameras. Generally, a Samsung telephone is more popular. However, you can do this, but you do need to make sure that you've got a green background. Otherwise, you look like an alien in the picture. So be warned, you might need to play around with that a little bit to get the right background. Okay, so if we go to the lesson itself, we need short, direct instructions. We're teaching remotely, so it's even harder to manage our students. So we need to make sure our instructions are clear and to the point. It may be easier for you to actually write your instructions down before you go into your lessons. So they're there on the side that you can just, read off as and when you need. I'm not sure how you're all getting on taking the register. Just something that came to mind might be easier when all your students are in the actual lesson itself, if they've renamed their names to their actual their profiles to the correct name, or you can see them on the video form. All you need to do is take a screenshot of that, and that file will be saved in your photo folder. To take a screenshot, all you need to do is press your Windows key on your keyboard, and then press the button at the top, which is above the numbers, which says print screen. If you press those two buttons, it will take a picture of your screen. At the end of the lesson, you can just look at that picture and you can tick off the students' names. Saves a lot of time as well. Warm up with something fun. Our students are struggling as well at the moment, and it's not, as much fun for them to sit behind a computer and listen to a lesson. So if you start with something fun, it might be, a song that they know, it might be a little video clip that they like, just to warm them up and get them going. Highlight the lesson objectives. We always need to make sure our students know the aim of the lesson. Start with something familiar. We've talked about this a lot during active learning. If students work with something they already know, they feel quite confident to take the next step. And don't forget to end the lesson with a reflection. This doesn't take much time. It can be something as simple as a word or a few words in the chat box on the right-hand side, and you can all read that. And plus, it's something that's still there at the end of the meeting, so you can read through yourself. And a good idea to tell the students what they'll need for the next lesson so that all your students are coming prepared. What to do when something goes wrong? Well, as I said, it's quite inevitable, really, when we use technology. First and foremost, stay calm and take a deep breath. Now, I've showed you already how you can pause your screen, so you can do that at any moment, or you can mute your mic if you want to take that breath a little bit loudly. As I said, we've frozen the screen previously during screen share, so that can just, give you a little bit more time. Stop the video and stop the audio if it's really that bad for you. If you're really having a difficult time, you can just stop it. You won't come out of the meeting itself. They just won't be able to see you. Some tasks to keep them engaged in the interim. It's a good idea to get something prepared, and I've got some things for you to give you an idea. So let's have a look at some short activities here. Well, something simple as pick a Disney character whose name begins with the letter B. And the students can all type this in the chat box. So you'll see a reel, if you've got like 20 students, all their ideas firing up. And then a conversation will start probably with the students talking about each other's ideas. Find a synonym for a word. Find an antonym for a word. And this will be any word that's actually part of your lesson. Depending on the topic you're studying, so you can choose any words from there. Find the meaning of a word. This is where you can get your students to do some dictionary work. And again, it takes just a minute, a couple of minutes, but it gives you a bit of time to catch your breath and get yourself in control again. Another one is fun one. If you were an English superhero with superpowers, what would you do and why? So you can type that one in the box. Or you can just say it out to them, and again they can respond in the chat box, or you can tell them to think about it, take some notes, and then when you come back in the next minute You can put them on a timer as well, so that gives them more encouragement to keep to actually do it as fast as they can. And then you can share those ideas, you know, when you've decided to go back in. Student well-being. Well, sometimes, you know, our students are sitting here, you know, quite long hours at the desk as well, because they're studying as well as taking their lessons. So you might want to do a little bit of stretching time. And that's quite nice as well. Just a bit of music in the background, stretching time. You can give them instructions, or you can give another student the opportunity to give instructions, and that will give you some time as well. Add some fun. Yes, fun is what we need sometimes in our lessons, isn't it? So, for example, what can travel around the world while staying in a corner? This is a nice riddle or quizzes we've got. So let's have a look. A stamp. Now, this is quite nice because some of your students probably never seen a stamp before, have no idea what it is. So you can tell them, now, if you're doing a topic on traveling, this is a great one to throw in there. And you can tell them how letters travelled all around the world in the old days before email. What has many keys but can't open a single lock? A piano. So again, if we're talking about instruments or some music, that's a nice one to throw in there. Give me food and I will live. Give me water and I will die. What am I? Fire. So nice for the science lessons. And last but not least, first I threw away the outside and cooked the inside. Then I ate the outside and threw away the inside. What did I eat? That's a difficult one, maybe for the older students. Corn. So nice if you're studying food. So they're just something that's quite fun, and it will keep your students engaged for a few minutes trying to work that out and debating amongst each other which one's right, which one's wrong. So just keeping a little bit of light entertainment there. Another one is images. Images are great, especially for critical thinking as well. Which way is the bus going? Okay, I'm going to give you a clue. Yes, it's a bus in the UK. In the UK, we drive on the left. Maybe your students won't know that, but it's something you could also share as an extra clue. Okay, so the answer is the bus is moving left because we cannot see the door of the bus in this picture. So what we're looking at, the door is on the other side of the bus. Okay, that's how we can tell it's moving left. Sorry. Okay, there's some of the sources for them, and they're actually for all age groups, starting from the very young learners. You can see there's the Disney ones, which are quite nice for the young learners, and they go all the way up to teenagers and young adults. So there's plenty out there, just as gap fillers, I like to call them. Not forgetting our total physical response. Now, it's very common with our teachers who teach very young learners. They use it a lot more, but it does apply to every age group. Now, if we're giving instructions to our students to carry out a writing activity, this is also a total physical response. They're actually responding on our instructions. So it can be used for any age group, and it doesn't just mean getting up and dancing around like a clown. It just means giving instructions and students respond to those instructions. But for the younger learners, even the teenagers, it'd be quite fun too. Someone can take the role of Simon, and Simon says, stand up, sit down. And this is, again, something that could be done for exercising, you know, in that time to just, you know, make a little change there. So one student can just give the instructions, and they can give instructions even up to eating a hamburger. And if they've got their cameras on, you can see the actions very clearly. So that's quite a fun one to do. They can choose, the student themselves can choose what they want the students to do. Okay, so that's a few things to keep them engaged in the meantime. How to teach remotely with our products. So you can see there's Power Up there, there's Sing. I think all of them have already been done, and I'm sure you've received them from your EdCons. If in the unlikely event you haven't, please just come to our website here, cambridge.org/ELT, and all you need to do is actually type in on the search button how to teach remotely with, and it will bring them all up for you. They're all booklets and they're full of tips of how you can use the product to teach online. As some of you, I hope, already know, we've done a survey for you all to find out how we can help you more during this period. And a lot of you have responded. So thank you so much already for those of you that filled out the survey for us. It is still open. We decided to keep it open a little bit longer because we know how busy you all are. So if you haven't filled this in already, please do take the time for it. Laura's going to be preparing a feedback presentation to you all, which she'll be sharing shortly, to give you some of that information that you will put in, and some tips that she's going to give to help you along the way with that. But it's really important that we know what you need and how we can help you further. So please take the time to do it, and thank you again to all of you that did. Coming up soon, well, we've got some storytelling here because we know a lot of our kindergarten teachers don't have as many resources available. So we're preparing some storytelling, which will be little videos and audios that you can share or use in your lessons, however you wish. Some Zoom frequently asked questions, and I'm still going to go ahead with this because I do think that Zoom is one of the better platforms. And that's just not my opinion, that's what I'm hearing from everybody else as well. It just seems to work that bit faster and has a lot more options to use. So I'll be touching on those frequently asked questions and digging a little bit deeper into Zoom for you. Online classroom management, flipping online, maximising our time in the lesson is something that we really need to pay attention to. So what we can be doing at home and what we should be doing in the lesson. Our other methodology options here, differentiation, oracy skills, of course our 21st century skills, critical thinking, but more importantly, the happy teacher. We're actually all concerned about how you're all managing and how you're actually feeling at this time. So we're going to put something together that will hopefully just help you relax that little bit more and help you to take care of yourself a little bit more. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. I know it's just such a difficult time and you're all so busy, but please do follow us, do stay in touch. Your EdCons will be sharing everything we're putting out there. We'll be trying to keep in touch with you on a weekly basis, whether it be me or Laura, and sharing everything that comes to us back to you with tips and answers and everything you need. So thank you all for watching this video.